Okay, hi everyone, this is Jörgen from Jord, and I'm sitting out here today and doing this video because I was asked by Hammerheart Records to do this little segment they call 5 favorites, and I've chosen to pick 5 albums that have influenced my music, my writing, and not necessarily that it sounds like it, but it have definitely influenced the way I view music and how I try to create music myself. And there's no particular order for the albums, it's just random. And not necessarily the albums I should or would pick for listening, my favorite listening albums, but this certainly will be somewhere in there, and I would definitely like to pick more than 5 albums. This was really hard to select just a few, but I'm gonna, I came to a conclusion, and these 5 have really made a huge impact on me as a musician and the way music is written. And not necessarily you can hear the influences on my previous released music, the first Jord albums, Sol and Måne, but you can definitely hear some of it, I'm sure, if you listen carefully. And but what I was coming at was that the album, the third album that's coming up this fall, it will kind of tie things together, and I think the influences are a little bit more clear on this new album. So if you stick with us and get the new album, you might hear some of these influences a little bit clearer than previously. So I'm gonna start. The first one is Marduk, Those of the Unlight, that was released in 1993. And I mean, I got that album, I was 15 at the time, and I bought it on CD, and it had a huge impact on me. I just listened to that album over and over and over. The melodies, the atmospheric feeling of the whole album, I just love that part. And I mean, Marduk is a classic Swedish black metal band, and back then I was also in a black metal band of that kind where we did corpse paint and all these things, and yeah, they had a really big influence on me. And maybe not as much back then because I didn't really write music in my teens that much, just a little bit here and there, and mainly I was a vocalist, so I wrote some lyrics, of course, and but not so much music. And yeah, I mean, the whole atmosphere of the album is just amazing. And if you haven't heard it and you like black metal, you certainly need to go back and get that album and listen to it, because it's, in my opinion, a classic. Which brings me to the other one, also a Swedish black metal band called Dissection. Most people names their album Storm of the Light Bane as one of the best black metal albums of all time, but my favorite, and the one that made the most impact on my music, was the Somberlain, and that also came out in '93. I got that one on CD back then as well, and it was really the same as with Those of the Unlight. It had a huge impact with the melodies and the way they wrote black metal music, with they mix in the classic influences with the acoustic guitars and stuff like that, and I was really amazed by that. It was such a different way of writing extreme metal music, and I really took on that type of songwriting. And I always had a soft spot for extreme music mixed up with soft melodic melodies. Obviously, that's what I do now as well. So that had a very big influence on my writing later in life, of course. And I love to go back to these albums and listen to them now as well. That's what's make them so great, is that they never grow old. So it's also a huge black metal classic album. And I'm not gonna go into detail about songs and stuff. I'm just gonna talk about each album in general, what kind of mostly feelings, emotions, and yeah, that kind of impact they've had on me. And it stuck, because that's the thing that stuck with me all these years until I started writing my own music when I was a little bit older. And also, yeah, that I'm gonna move on to the third one, which is not a Swedish band. It's a little bit newer one. It's Alcest, of course, creating the kind of new genre, black gaze, where the thing was, when I discovered Alcest, it was not so long ago. It was maybe 3 years ago or so, 3-4 years ago, and I heard the album Kodama, and it kind of made me realize that what I have been doing for years, I thought what I was doing, mixing some black metal and pop melodies, so to speak, I thought no one wants to listen to that kind of stuff. It's only me who are kind of schizophrenic, and I will never be able to do something with it. But I just kept doing it until I heard Alcest, and my first thought was, my goodness, they are doing what I'm doing, and they are doing it successfully. So maybe I can do something with my ideas, my song ideas that I have in my computer. Maybe I can do something creative with it, and maybe reach out somewhere. So that kind of started the whole thing. So I have to thank Alcest for inspiring me to actually grow the balls and make an album, which was the first Jord album, called Sol. So yeah, big thanks to Alcest and Nige for inspiring me in that way. And Kodama is, I mean, the long, the almost meditative kind of songwriting, where you just keep on going on the same riffs, and just mixing in these subtle melodies here and there, and the vocals, amazing vocals, both screaming and clean vocals, which I do like. And I'm definitely very interested to hear they are working on a new album right now, so, and it seems to be very different, so I'm looking forward to hear that one. So, and that brings me to the next album that I really like, because I know that Nige in Alcest is very inspired by this band as well, and it's Sigur Rós from Iceland, and especially their album, their untitled album. It's a white one with these parentheses, if you call it. I don't know the words for everything, but, and hopefully we can put up images of the albums right here, so we'll hopefully be able to do that, so you can see the covers of the albums that I'm talking about. And this album was released in 2002. I got it, I think, around that time, a little bit, maybe the year after or so. And that's the same thing with this album, like the previous ones. Not many albums gets me listening over and over again. I just put on the headphones and I just kept on listening hours and hours. And just the atmosphere of it, and the melodies, the melancholy, just amazing stuff. And that's also something that the genre post-rock, often instrumental, but not with Sigur Rós. They have vocals, of course, and I do love that genre post-rock, and love to mix that with the black metal riffs, and sometimes successfully, sometimes not. But it's a hard thing to mix up all these genres. But as I said earlier, Alcest make it really, really well, and I really want to get to that point where I can mix all these things to as natural as possible without it sounding too forced. And previously, I might have succeeded sometimes, but sometimes not. Well, I think once again, the third album that we're releasing, you will hopefully hear that we have evolved and make these mixing of genres sound as natural as possible. And Sigur Rós, once again, they are so amazing with the melancholy. That's the absolutely best thing about that band, and that's yeah, that's the big point of all these albums. I have to say, because they all gives you that feeling of weightlessness, and it's like as I said earlier, it's very meditative. It's like meditating when you put on the headphones and just let the music take you away somewhere. And that brings me to the last one, which is also a Swedish band called Katatonia. And that album that I get most inspiration from when it came out was Night is the New Day, and came out in 2009. And that was also, it was like a punch in the face when I heard it. I just could not stop listening to it. It was just absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed that one. And as well, I heard their latest album quite recently, and it's also very, very good. But I'm gonna listen to it a bit more. But this is the one, this is my absolute favorite when it comes to inspiration. And that album makes me wanna write better music. And that's what it's all about, I guess. And yeah, 3 Swedish bands, but they are so good, so I had to put them on there on this list. And I definitely would like to add more bands to this list, more albums. But these are the essential ones. And I hope you enjoy this little segment. And hopefully, as I said, I can put up some images here for the album so you can see what the covers look like. And keep an eye out for our next album. Promotion work will start quite soon, in a few weeks. So when this is out, the promotion is in full force. So keep an eye out and pre-save, pre-order as much as you can. And I will talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.